Hey guys, welcome. I'm Parshvika. Welcome to the channel where we talk a lot about self-improvement topics, feminine energy, manifestation stuff, relationship stuff. In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the most important thing to actually control your thoughts. Now, I'm not telling you to deliberately holding very hard to control your thoughts, but one of the trick that I've been applying from few weeks, and it's really helping me to control, not really control, but to treat my negative thoughts, because your thoughts create the reality. Now obviously you don't need to correct every single thoughts out there, or you need to flip every single thoughts out there. It's gonna be a lot of the work and you're gonna end up giving up. So I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna help you. So let's dive in. Give this video a big thumbs up. Do consider subscribing for more such videos. We have a female self-care planner if you're interested. It's a PDF download. The link is in description. Anyways, let's talk about what is this one thing that you can help you to deal with the negative thoughts. That's reject your negative thoughts the moment they pop up in your head. Now you really need to be aware of these things, because you can't do this passively. If you are an autopilot and your thoughts are thinking you instead of you thinking your thoughts, it would be very hard to reject these thoughts, and you would be spiraling up and down based on your thought, because that's what happens. One thoughts pop up, negative or positive, and then you entertain that thought, another thought join the root, then another thought, law of attraction work in the favor, more thoughts like that come, and then they, either if it's a good, you feel pretty good, but if it's a bad, you feel so bad, and you feel sad, you feel depressed, you cry, you get angry, and all those negative emotions comes up because of that spiraling of the thoughts. You can say that it's kind of like created a mountain. One thoughts join another, and now it's created a mountain. It's gonna burst like a volcano. And that's what would happen with the people. Majority of the people are not even aware of their thoughts when a single negative thoughts pop up, because always, whatever you're seeing right now, or whatever you're feeling right now, the negative or positive, whatever it is, it started with a very small thing. It never comes all of a sudden. Like you can see your body, it's a very small cell that we can't even see with our naked eyes. That cell comes, then the tissue comes, then the organ systems, and then you see your entire body. But it all started with that one small little cell. Likewise, everything started with very small things. So if you catch your negative thoughts, the moment they come, you reject it. You're like, I am the boss, okay? You are not the boss. The ego mind, you are not the boss. I am the boss. And I dictate what thoughts you're gonna think, okay? You're not gonna come into my head and constantly thinking about negative, even if I don't like it. I am the boss here. You take the creation in your hand, and the moment a negative thought comes, you reject it. You're like, I don't care. I don't care, because I know that's not true, because I create my reality. I know that I create my reality. And the moment it's pop up, it's like, it's gonna be very sleek and very, sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes it's not that subtle, it can be loud, it depends. Like we are very unique beings and everybody is unique, so our experience and the things that we perceive is also unique. So sometimes it's very small, sometimes it's a little bit louder, not that small. So whatever it is, the first thought that's come, it's a negative. It's like, for example, you're doing your work, and your work is taking you a little bit longer time, okay, and you wanted to finish it faster, and now your ego mind is like, oh, it's taking you a lot of the time, you are not efficient, it's taking you a lot more longer time. That's the one thought will going to pop up, okay? For example, okay, it could be any thought, I'm just taking one example over here, okay? And now if you entertain that thought, it takes me so much time. Now this thought, you would be like, oh, it's not negative, but then again, you know it, whether it's negative or positive. It makes you feel good, definitely positive. It doesn't feel good, it's not positive, right? So this thought is kind of like having the two sides of the coin. It can be positive, it can be negative, depending on the mood, or depending on the style, or depending on the frequency or energy, or how you feel. It can be varied. So the fun thought is like, oh, the work is taking me so much time, and you feel a little bit negative, but then you're not able to catch yourself, and then you entertain this thought, yes, it's taking me a lot more time, what to do? Now you feel negative. Now the another thought comes up, you're not efficient, you're not good enough, you don't know how to finish your work on time, or maybe, why are you doing this right now? You can do this anytime. You're always lazy, you do the things at the end time. Like It could be any thoughts, and then they join the party, and while you're working, your thoughts are thinking you're not thinking your thoughts, you leave the control because you didn't catch them when the first thought come. When the little negative feeling started beginning, you didn't catch yourself at that, and now the momentum picks up because it's all the snowball effect. It's all about momentum, whether you pick up the positive momentum or the negative. It picks up the momentum, and then when it's at the momentum, it's on the very high, it's very hard for you to change that negative thought. All of a sudden, that's a very, very big mountain to into the positive. It's a very hard journey. That's why when people reach to that big mountain of negativity, it's better to go to the neutral state instead of trying to the positive, because going to the positive at the time could be the upstream, and upstream sometimes it's not easy for everybody if you don't have practice in that area. It needs practice. Everything needs practice, right? So you need to catch yourself before it begins to grow. You need to catch in the beginning itself. That's what I recommend, because in the beginning there is no momentum. It's very slow. It may be a little bit louder, but it's not that louder. When it grows too big, that's way more louder than that. But then it could be a little bit smaller, a little bit not that loud, and just a beginning. And you need to be aware, okay, this thought is coming. How am I feeling right now? You can ask yourself in your mind, how am I feeling with this thought? Is it a positive scale? Is it a negative state? You really have to be aware. It all comes with the practice, because sometimes people are not even aware. They're like, it can be positive. But then when it catches the momentum, then they feel like, no, that thought wasn't positive. It was negative. It feel like positive, but then it was negative because the tone of the thought was not positive. I hope it makes sense, because some words, some sentences are kind of like misleading sometimes. So you really need to catch the tone of your feelings, tone of the thoughts, to get the feeling, to get the understanding in the beginning that whether it's positive or negative. Like they have the two swords or two sides of the same coin. Now, whichever side it is, you have to be aware of that. So that's the thing happened with most of the people. And it happened with me in the beginning as well, when I was not really aware of the thoughts. And I was going on the roller coaster ride with my emotions, because the moment the thoughts catch up the momentum, you feel it, then it's carried the emotions, and then you go through the emotions, and it's a roller coaster ride. It's not stable. And we want stability. Everybody wants stability. Nobody wants to go up and down in the roller coaster ride. It's great to go up, but then when you fall down, it feels so bad. So you need to kind of like a stability. Now, stability is not like this line. It could be like a little bit like this, but then still it's more stable than like this. I hope it makes sense. So another thing that I want to cover over here, which is kind of like coming in my mind, is about you need to realize your thoughts create your reality. So even sometimes the thoughts comes within. Okay, you think the thoughts and comes within. Sometimes these thoughts come from the external environment. You see something that you didn't like it, and it trigger you. It happens with me. Like sometimes when I'm talking with somebody, and sometimes I'm not even aware of what I'm thinking in that moment, because I'm totally focusing on what other person is telling and taking all the information from that. It happens with me. Now I use a filter to protect myself and protect my thoughts, but before that I wasn't using any filter. I was taking all the information, and they tell me, so for example, 9 things, and out of those 9 things, 2 or 3 things are not that good, not that appealing, and they started to create the negative thoughts inside of me. And that's why when you talk with somebody, you feel so excited, so amazing after talking with them. But after talking with few people, you feel not that good. But you don't know why you didn't feel good, right? Because they said something that wasn't that appealing, that wasn't that good. Now, I'm not telling that is a bad person, you need to avoid them. I'm not saying that. But every person has good and positive and negative and positive, everything inside of that. So whatever they are saying, you need to catch yourself, whether I'm feeling good in that moment or not. If it's not, reject it. You don't need to fight with that person or argue with that person, but then you can reject your thoughts, or maybe you can change the subject of the talking, subject of your conversation, and talk something that's more positive, that's more good, and change the conversation instead of going the conversation with them at that low live energy that you don't feel comfortable in. Just change the conversation, or maybe give yourself a break. Just say that, oh, okay, I need to go catch a water, or I need to check washroom, whatever. And give yourself a break in the moment so that you break that negative momentum before it starts picking up. And that's how you manage your world. That's how you manage your internal world, your mental mindset. I know it in the beginning, rejecting thoughts is not that comfortable, because you're like, the negative thoughts, even though they are negative, sometimes they are more familiar. There is a familiarity in these thoughts. There is a like a feeling of certainty in these thoughts. You feel certain even if it's negative. Yes, even if it's negative, it's certain, it's familiar. And we human beings are wired to feel comfortable in the certainty, in the familiar things. And that's why when something is uncomfortable, even if it's positive, people find it very hard to go through that thing or to actually deal with that thing or go in that direction, because it's unknown, uncertain, it's not familiar, it's uncomfortable because of that. And you're not because of all these things, even if it is positive, you're not able to go that route. And even if something is familiar, maybe you have heard or seen before, it's certain, even if it is negative, you're still gonna go that route. It's like a human brain. It's okay. You just need to understand these things. And the moment something comes up, something that's not good, you start need to asking yourself the question, how am I feeling? If it's not feeling good, reject the thought, reject it. If you need to take a break, go out, have some water, go take the fresh air, maybe check the washroom, do whatever it takes. Just break that part or just break that moment and give yourself a break so you can feel what you're feeling. And then maybe start with something new conversation that's more good, that's more positive, because your thoughts create your reality. Now you don't need to check on every single thoughts, but then if you do check on majority of the thoughts, it's definitely going to help increase your vibration, your energy, and that energy and that vibration will going to help you create what you want, to get what you want. And that's the secret sauce. Nothing else is secret. Simple. Let me know if this thing resonates with you and you find it useful. If you have any questions, any thoughts, let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you the next time. Till then, take care. Bye guys.